So over our last few sessions, we looked at how to develop a good character, and we looked at genre, how to know how to tell your story by placing it in a specific genre like action, fantasy, and so forth. Now we're going to move on and look at how do you actually structure that story now? How do you create your story arc, your storyline, so that it's appealing and interesting to your viewer? There is a specific way to go about doing this. What most screenplays use and most movie creators and animation creators use is what is called the 3-act story structure. That is that the story is told in 3 acts, in 3 segments. You have Act 1, which is your setup. You have Act 2, which is all about the confrontation. And you have Act 3, which is the resolution. So let's take Toy Story as our example for this. It's a great movie that follows the 3-act story structure very well. So if you haven't seen the first Toy Story, you'll still be able to pick it up. But if you have, this will make a lot of sense to you. So we're going to use Toy Story 1. So first you have story structure. You have Act 1, the setup. In the setup, the first thing that happens is you have the introduction. Your characters are introduced. So first we meet Woody. Woody's living happily in Andy's bedroom with all the other toys. They're living their happy lives and everything's just moving along swimmingly. And then you have what is called the inciting incident. This is very important in every story. Without it, you have a weak story. An inciting incident is the moment where everything takes off. The problem occurs, the situation comes, the moment happens that gets everything going. In the movie Toy Story, it's Andy's birthday party. Andy's birthday party is the inciting incident. This is when things get tense, when things are going to get moving, because it is right there when Andy gets a Buzz Lightyear for his birthday. Getting that Buzz Lightyear is the inciting incident because now Woody, who was Andy's favorite toy, suddenly has competition. So now our story's going to get moving. So that's Act 1, your introduction and your inciting incident. Next, in the 3-act story structure, you have the confrontation. This is most of the movie. Most of the movie is Act 2. This is where the rising action occurs. This is where the stakes get higher. This is when Woody is fighting with Buzz Lightyear because he's jealous of Buzz Lightyear, and then he accidentally knocks Buzz Lightyear out the window, and then Woody gets knocked out the window because the other toys think he purposely did it and they try to punish him, and then the two of them end up as lost toys until finally the stakes get higher where they find themselves trapped in Sid's house. Sid the toy destroyer. Sid the character who likes to strap firecrackers to the back of army men. So Sid is the scary character in the story, the antagonist, and we find our 2 main characters trapped in his house. This is the example of the 2nd act. We have the confrontation and then the stakes get higher. Until finally you come to Act 3. Act 3 is the big moment. Act 3 is when it all comes to a head. It's the moment your audience has been waiting for. It's the climax of the story. It's the peak of the story. It's when the protagonist has his final confrontation with the antagonist. It's when Woody confronts Sid and scares him off and rescues the toys. It's the moment where everything is resolved. And then it concludes with a new normal. What I mean by a new normal is now you have Woody and Buzz have resolved their differences and they're friends. And we see a new world in which Woody and Buzz are living in Andy's new room as friends, and they're all back in a new happy community, and this is the new normal. And everybody lives happily ever after. So there's your 3-act story structure.